Trump admits his talk of absorbing Canada, his new word for it, is no joke. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. Do you remember when we were assured by the Prime Minister's office, the people around him, that when Donald Trump was talking about making Canada the 51st state, making Trudeau its governor back in December, that this was just a joke that started over dinner at Mar-a-Lago? Maybe it did. But I've been saying for a long time that it doesn't feel like Trump is joking anymore, that we need to take this seriously, come up with a real response. Well, Justin Trudeau said last week to a packed group of business leaders and labor leaders and politicians talking about how to respond to Trump's tariff threat, he said in a hot mic moment that I actually think was, well, leaked on purpose, that this was no joke, that Trump was being serious. That made headlines in the United States as well, and Brett Baer at Fox News asked Trump about that this weekend in an interview.
You announced tariffs on Canada and Mexico. You immediately got action from both of them on border security and drug interdiction.
I did. A lot of action.
Is that good enough?
Expected.
Is that good enough?
No, it's not good enough.
So more needed in 30 days.
Something has to happen. It's not sustainable. And I'm changing it.
You know, the Prime Minister said this weekend to a group of Canadian businessmen, he was at a private meeting, he said that your wish for Canada to be the 51st state is a, quote, real thing. Is it a real thing?
Yeah, it is. I think Canada would be much better off being a 51st state because we lose $200 billion a year with Canada, and I'm not going to let that happen. It's too much. Why are we paying $200 billion a year, essentially in subsidy to Canada? Now, if they're a 51st state, I don't mind doing it.
Then, while flying down to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Trump was asked about Canada on the plane. Why is he talking about Canada so much? Why does he want to take Canada over? And he expanded on his thoughts.
Canada, we'll see what happens with Canada, but the people of Canada would be paying less than half of the tax. If you look at the tax, they're going to be paying less than half the tax. You know, they don't pay very much for military, and the reason they don't pay much is they assume that we're going to protect them. That's not an assumption they can make, because why are we protecting another country? Now, I love the people of Canada. We have a great relationship. But if they became our 51st state, it would be the greatest thing they could ever do. It would be unbelievable. It would be a cherished state. And think of how beautiful that country would be without that artificial line running right through it. Somebody drew it many years ago with a ruler, just a line. You look at how beautiful that is, wow, it would be very exciting. But if you look at Canada, it would be cherished as a 51st state. They don't pay their share of military in NATO. They pay very little for military. They're not protected at all. And the reason is they think we're going to protect them. The other thing is we subsidize them to the tune of about $200 billion a year. If we stop doing that, if we stop allowing them to make cars through tariffs and other things, cars, trucks, etc., what they make, they're not viable as a country. So we're making our country larger, we're making our country stronger. And in the case of Canada, if this should happen, I don't know how they can do it without us, because without the U.S., Canada really doesn't have a country. They do almost all of their business with us. And if we say we want our cars to be made in Detroit, with a stroke of a pen, I can do that. And other things in addition to that would not allow Canada to be a viable country.
Look, you can quibble with Trump on the economic side of it. Is a trade deficit really something to be concerned about? Do they matter? Do they not? The size of the trade deficit, I mean, he's obviously wrong on that. Where he's not wrong is on defense. We have been laggards on defense for a long time, and we have decided not to spend on our military because we assumed the Americans would protect us. We can't do that anymore, and we need to be serious. We should have been serious a long time ago. But Canadians have been fine with just allowing our military spending to disappear, for our military to turn into a joke when it used to be something to be incredibly proud of, something I was incredibly proud to be a part of. Not anymore. It has changed. It has evolved in very bad ways, and we've let it just dilapidate. Now, we don't have that option anymore. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has put forward several planks of a plan to what he calls put Canada first, and that includes spending more on defense in the Arctic. That is the area that the Americans are concerned about, with China and Russia trying to invade into the Arctic area for its resources, and we, the Canadians, are unable to defend it. If we want to be a sovereign nation, we have to act like a sovereign nation. And that means making tough, grown-up decisions and not being the lazy teenager in the basement that won't move out and get a real job. Are we ready to do that? Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below, share this on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.